sewage, sewage,
sewer, sewer,
belly, belly, congestion, congestion, congest, congest, deploy, deploy, euthanasia, euthanasia, strain, strain, constrain, constrain, restrain, restrain, pimple, pimple, adolescence, adolescence, adolescent, adolescent,
toe, toe,
thrift, thrift, thrifty, thrifty, here, here, fierce, 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 fierce,
hover, hover,
shepherd, shepherd, sled, sled, coerce, coerce, coercive, coercive, surge, surge, howl, howl, acid, acid,
transform, transform,
transformation, transformation,
transplant, transplant,
transparent, transparent, translate, translate,
transfer, transfer,
trespass, trespass, heritage, heritage, heritable, heritable, inherit, inherit, inheritance, inheritance, inheritable, inheritable, heir, heir, heredity, heredity, yawn, yawn, yearn, yearn,
Sewage works. Sewage works. A sewage outlet. A sewage outlet. A sewage outfall. A sewage outfall. Sewage farm. Sewage farm. The dilution of sewage. The dilution of sewage. Sewage disposal. Sewage disposal. Sewage disposal systems. Sewage disposal systems. Treat sewage. Treat sewage. Sewer gas. Sewer gas. The trunk sewer. The trunk sewer. A storm sewer. A storm sewer. Sewer rat. Sewer rat. Sluice sewer. Sluice sewer. Belly laugh. Belly laugh. The belly of a ship. The belly of a ship. Swollen bellied. Swollen bellied. Round bellied. Round bellied. A pot belly. A pot belly. An empty belly. An empty belly. The belly of a ship. The belly of a ship. Bellying sails. Bellying sails. Go belly up. Go belly up. Stuff one's belly. Stuff one's belly. Traffic congestion and pollution. Traffic congestion and pollution. Congestion fee. Congestion fee. Congestion charge. Congestion charge. Relieve the congestion. Relieve the congestion. Collect congestion fees. Collect congestion fees. Cause congestion. Cause congestion. Mental congestion. Mental congestion. The congestion of cities. The congestion of cities. Arterial congestion. Arterial congestion. Congest traffic conditions. Congest traffic conditions. Deploy forces. Deploy forces. Urgently deploy. Urgently deploy. Deploy troops. Deploy troops. To deploy arguments. To deploy arguments. To deploy resources. To deploy resources. Deploy a platoon. Deploy a platoon. Legalize euthanasia. Legalize euthanasia. Administer euthanasia. Administer euthanasia. Active euthanasia. Active euthanasia. Restrictively allow euthanasia. Restrictively allow euthanasia. The strain of sleepless nights. The strain of sleepless nights. The strain of worry. The strain of worry. Without strain. Without strain. Nerve strain. Nerve strain. Keep strain on a rope. Keep strain on a rope. Speak in a dismal strain. Speak in a dismal strain. In the same strain. In the same strain. Martial strains. Martial strains. Stirring strains. Stirring strains. A strain on a person's kindness. A strain on a person's kindness. Strain oneself. Strain oneself. Strain one's ears. Strain one's ears. Strain one's voice. Strain one's voice. Strain one's eyes. Strain one's eyes. Strain one's wit. Strain one's wit. Strain a wire. Strain a wire. Strain a rope. Strain a rope. Strain out coffee grounds. Strain out coffee grounds.
Strain the soup. Strain the soup. Strain the vegetables. Strain the vegetables. Strain the meaning of the passage. Strain the meaning of the passage. Strain the truth. Strain the truth. Strain the law. Strain the law. Strain one's resources. Strain one's resources. Strain a person's patience. Strain a person's patience. Strain a child to one's breast. Strain a child to one's breast. Strain at a rope. Strain at a rope. Muscle strain. Muscle strain. To strain a muscle. To strain a muscle. Strain at the leash. Strain at the leash. Strain a wire. Strain a wire. Constrain obedience. Constrain obedience. Constrain oneself. Constrain oneself. Institutional constrain. Institutional constrain. Constrain obedience. Constrain obedience. A constrained manner. A constrained manner. A constrained voice. A constrained voice. Constrained motion. Constrained motion. Restrain one's temper. Restrain one's temper. Restrain somebody's liberty. Restrain somebody's liberty. Restrain a person from interference. Restrain a person from interference. Restrain one's temper. Restrain one's temper. Restrain laughter. Restrain laughter. Restrain one's wrath. Restrain one's wrath. Restrain one's tongue. Restrain one's tongue. Pop a pimple. Pop a pimple. Squeeze a pimple. Squeeze a pimple. A pimple on the nose. A pimple on the nose. Childhood, adolescence and adulthood. Childhood, adolescence and adulthood. At the period of adolescence. At the period of adolescence. Adolescence delinquency. Adolescence delinquency. A spotty adolescent. A spotty adolescent. Adolescent crisis. Adolescent crisis. A lovesick adolescent. A lovesick adolescent. Adolescent experiences. Adolescent experiences. Adolescent girls. Adolescent girls. The pre-adolescent period. The pre-adolescent period. A tow truck. A tow truck. Tow a ship into port. Tow a ship into port. Tow car. Tow car. Have in tow. Have in tow. Tow a barge. Tow a barge. Tow a wreck. Tow a wreck. Tow away zone. Tow away zone. Thrift shop. Thrift shop. Thrift saving account. Thrift saving account. A thrift fund. A thrift fund. Practice thrift. Practice thrift. A thrifty wife. A thrifty wife. A thrifty habit. A thrifty habit. A thrifty person. A thrifty person. A thrifty plant. A thrifty plant. Thrifty living. Thrifty living. Build a pair. Build a pair.
Build a bridge pier. Build a bridge pier. A landing pier. A landing pier. A floating pier. A floating pier. A loading pier. A loading pier. Here's one's ear. Here's one's ear. Here's a hole. Here's a hole. Have the ears pierced. Have the ears pierced. Here's the enemy's lines. Here's the enemy's lines. Here's a wilderness. Here's a wilderness. Here's a disguise. Here's a disguise. Here's the mysteries of nature. Here's the mysteries of nature. Here's wind. Here's wind. Here's storm. Here's storm. Here's loyalty. Here's loyalty. A fierce dog. A fierce dog. Here's looks. Here's looks. A fierce fighter. A fierce fighter. Here's hatred. Here's hatred. Here's heat. Here's heat. Fear's cold. Fear's cold. Fear's taste. Fear's taste. Have a fierce battle. Have a fierce battle. Here's debate. Here's debate. Hover over the city. Hover over the city. Hover about a place. Hover about a place. Hover around a place. Hover around a place. Hover in the air. Hover in the air. Hover on the brink of a decision. Hover on the brink of a decision. Hover between life and death. Hover between life and death. Good shepherd. Good shepherd. A shepherd herding his flock. A shepherd herding his flock. Ride a sled. Ride a sled. Sled dog. Sled dog. Coerce obedience. Coerce obedience. Coerce a person into silence. Coerce a person into silence. Coerce somebody into submission. Coerce somebody into submission. Coercive measures. Coercive measures. Coercive powers. Coercive powers. A tidal surge. A tidal surge. Storm surge. Storm surge. Debris surge. Debris surge. A surge of excitement. A surge of excitement. A surge of crowd. A surge of crowd. Surging crowds. Surging crowds. A surge of passion. A surge of passion. A surge of smoke. A surge of smoke. A surge of energy. A surge of energy.
A voltage surge. A voltage surge. A surge protector. A surge protector. Surge to the fore again. Surge to the fore again. To howl in pain. To howl in pain. Dogs howl. Dogs howl. Howl defiance at an enemy. Howl defiance at an enemy. A howl of laughter. A howl of laughter. Howls of wolves. Howls of wolves. A howl of pain. A howl of pain. Wasting asset. Wasting asset. Working asset. Working asset. Disposal of one's asset. Disposal of one's asset. Asset sales. Asset sales. Financial assets. Financial assets. Asset management. Asset management. Intangible asset. Intangible asset. Asset allocation. Asset allocation. Stock asset. Stock asset. A political asset. A political asset. An economic asset. An economic asset. Transform fault. Transform fault. Transform society. Transform society. Transformation scene. Transformation scene. Transformation point. Transformation point. Apply a transformation. Apply a transformation. Undergo a transformation. Undergo a transformation. A total transformation. A total transformation. Transplant a seating. Transplant a seating. A transplant operation. A transplant operation. Transplant an organ. Transplant an organ. To have a heart transplant. To have a heart transplant. Apply transparent tape. Apply transparent tape. Wear transparent makeup. Wear transparent makeup. Transparent window panes. Transparent window panes. Transparent muslin. Transparent muslin. Transparent excuses. Transparent excuses. A transparent veil. A transparent veil. Transparent earnestness. Transparent earnestness. A transparent excuse. A transparent excuse. A transparent discourse. A transparent discourse. Translate thought into action. Translate thought into action. Translate Greek into English. Translate Greek into English. Translate poetry into music. Translate poetry into music. Translate a poem into prose. Translate a poem into prose. Translate literally. Translate literally. Translate a poem closely. Translate a poem closely. Credit transfer. Credit transfer. Transfer student. Transfer student. Transfer a boy to another school. Transfer a boy to another school. Transfer from a train to a bus. Transfer from a train to a bus. A transfer student. A transfer student. Telegraphic transfer. Telegraphic transfer. A transfer ticket. A transfer ticket. Do an account transfer. Do an account transfer. Get a transfer discount. Get a transfer discount. Transfer a notice. Transfer a notice. Transfer point. Transfer point. Trespass on sacred ground. Trespass on sacred ground. Trespass in search of game. Trespass in search of game. Trespass on a person's privacy. Trespass on a person's privacy. Trespass on a person's preserves. Trespass on a person's preserves. Trespass against moral law. Trespass against moral law. Criminal trespass. Criminal trespass. A trespass on decorum. A trespass on decorum. Trespass on another's premises. Trespass on another's premises. Bestow a heritage. Bestow a heritage. Social heritage. Social heritage. Cultural heritage. Cultural heritage. Spiritual heritage. Spiritual heritage. Mental heritage. Mental heritage. The heritage of freedom. The heritage of freedom. A proud heritage. A proud heritage. A family heritage. A family heritage. Heritable defect. Heritable defect. Heritable variation. Heritable variation. Heritable character. Heritable character. Heritable substance. Heritable substance. Heritable rights. Heritable rights. Inherit a tradition. Inherit a tradition. Inherit jointly. Inherit jointly. Inherit an estate. Inherit an estate. An inherited disease. An inherited disease. An inherited character. An inherited character. Inherit property. Inherit property. Inherit a legacy. Inherit a legacy. Inheritance tax. Inheritance tax. Give up the inheritance. Give up the inheritance. Quarrel over the inheritance. Quarrel over the inheritance. Come into an inheritance. Come into an inheritance. Claim one's inheritance. Claim one's inheritance. Cross inheritance. Cross inheritance. Inheritable characteristics. Inheritable characteristics. Inheritable blood. Inheritable blood.
An inheritable title. An inheritable title. An inheritable trait. An inheritable trait. Heir presumptive. Heir presumptive. Heir apparent. Heir apparent. The heir to the throne. The heir to the throne. An heir male. An heir male. A natural heir. A natural heir. A legal heir. A legal heir. A joint heir. A joint heir. Heir by custom. Heir by custom. Heir of the body. Heir of the body. Cross heredity. Cross heredity. Heredity effect. Heredity effect. Social heredity. Social heredity. Ancestral heredity. Ancestral heredity. Handed down by heredity. Handed down by heredity. Heredity and environment. Heredity and environment. Feign a yawn. Feign a yawn. Force a yawn. Force a yawn. Smother a yawn. Smother a yawn. Strangle a yawn. Strangle a yawn. Make a person yawn. Make a person yawn. Give a yawn. Give a yawn. Stifle a yawn. Stifle a yawn. Yearn for city life. Yearn for city life. Yearn for home. Yearn for home. Yearn for home. Yearn for home. Yearn after home. Yearn after home. Yearn for rest. Yearn for rest. Yearn for freedom. Yearn for freedom. Yearn for one's lover. Yearn for one's lover.